For Asgard. So for the first time ever in a week or two, I watched from Toy Story 1 to Toy Story 4. I didn't watch yet, I completely forgot. I also have Toy Story the horror, the short film, but I didn't watch that yet. But nevertheless, first time in a long time watching Toy Story as a movie, um, and to watch them all like pretty much back to back to back to back. It was an interesting experience. Um, it was around when the first Toy Story came out. It was on those black bricks. Good times. And watching the first Toy Story in 2024, that movie is, it's still relevant. It's still it aged very well. From the animation, voice, it was a perfect film. Um, so the first one was very good. It was excellent. Toy Story 2. I don't know with Toy Story 2. I just can't seem to find a connection with this movie. It's not a bad movie, but I just failed to find a connection with it. I enjoyed it, and to watch it more in depth now, it was good. I understand it. I understand the premise and the story they were trying to tell and the characters, but I just can't connect well with this movie. I don't know what it is, but I just failed to connect with it. Toy Story 3 was probably the best of the series, in my opinion. Very dark, lots going on. The story, the animation, it's Toy Story 1 looks great in the animation. But Toy Story 3 is like it's a step towards it's perfect. It's like perfect. They're perfect. But Toy Story 3 was great. Loved the villain, loved the whole premise and them being locked in a daycare, like a cult like prison. That was fun. Great movie. I love the fire scene where the toys are about to be dumped into the fire scene. Like that was great. Executed very, very well. And the villain in Toy Story 3 is one of the best. It's just one of the best villains. I understand him, I feel him, and that's what makes Toy Story 3 epic. And then there's Toy Story 4. Um I still like it. I like it. It does. Now watching it now and then reading the reviews of why people didn't like it now, I still enjoy that movie. There's a lot going on. You feel for the villain. Um, like you feel for Woody. Woody's trying to help someone that doesn't really want to be helped, and you feel for him. All the other toys are compared to the other three, they're pretty much irrelevant in this. The story was mainly about Woody and Bo Peep, pretty much, and the Forky was only there to push that story together. After a while, the Forky kind of takes the back seat. But long story short, they are able to get themselves together and accept their role. A lot of people hate the fact that Woody decided to stay, but I don't really see that as a problem. I think, this is his decision. Um, he missed Bo Peep. Like he has a thing. He has a thing with Bo Peep, and sometimes, in reality, many people are going to choose that special person over a group. So I don't think the decision of Woody was bad or out of character. I think Buzz was a bit out of character. In the last three films, he was smart. He was able to make decisions and things like that. Then Toy Story 4 comes along. This guy is unable to figure things out. For three movies, he didn't use his little buttons for anything. And all of a sudden now, he needs it. And it doesn't really make sense. Yeah, so I kind of agree with Woody. And that's life, though. Like, that is life. I don't understand why people, can't look at movies as flexible or free motion, if that makes sense. Because in life, a lot of things happen. In life, you do things that are out of character. You try new things. You make mistakes. That happens. Like, that happens. You choose something. You choose to go a different way or choose something that you never would choose. That happens in life. You choose to stay. You choose to go. That's what happens. And the same thing with these toys. Or in these characters in these movies. He chose to stay. And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with staying with someone that you love? I know he also respects the other toys and etc. And Woody was going through a little phase because he wasn't being played with and all that. And he chose his own path. What's wrong with that? Like, what is wrong with that? And it really makes sense, though. Like, he's going through all this emotions, this stress of being, he tries so hard to be that toy for his kid. He tries so hard to be that toy for his kid every time, over and over. First three movies, it was just about him doing well for the kid every time. And eventually it's like you put all that work in and it's like you still get put to the side. And I think he was just stressed out and depressed about that. He didn't want to be stuck in a closet or an attic. He didn't want to do that. Woody wants to be the star. Woody wants to be the star. Just like in Toy Story 1, when Buzz came, he felt his star presence was threatened. That's why he was so jealous. But they finally rekindled, and Buzz knew his role, and that's when Woody was happy with that. Woody wanted in Toy Story 2, Woody almost went to Japan because he would have been a star again. Toy Story 3, again, he was gonna he was gonna be going to college with Andy, so he would have been the main star. Toy Story 4 comes along. This guy is stuck in a closet, not being played with. No mention of him by Bonnie or whatever. And long story short, he realizes, I'm not a star anymore. I'm probably not gonna be a star. Bonnie has Forky. Bonnie has all the other toys. So the reason why he's staying is because he knows he's pretty much washed up. He knows he's not the star anymore. He can't compete anymore. He's tired of competing. So the best thing for him to do is to move out, live on his own in a sense, to be a lost toy. So I kind of get what Woody is doing. I get it. But people always want characters to act like their character. Like what? Where's the fun in that if characters don't change a little bit? And I'm not saying go from 1 to 10. But sometimes characters should be allowed to go from 1 to 5. Should be allowed to have some dramatic change. Should be allowed to make mistakes or actions or behaviors that's like, really? Because that's what happens in life. Happens in your job. You do well, and then one time you make a decision that's detrimental. That's a very big error. You telling me that people in life didn't make a decision that was selfish? That was best for only one person? So I don't see anything wrong with Toy Story 4. Yeah, there's some goofs in the movie. Yeah, there are some goofs in the movie. But it's a good, still a good movie. This is like a very consistent series, and it's so rare to have something that's so consistent. Toy Story 1 was great, excellent. Toy Story 2 was good. I still can't connect with it. Toy Story 3, excellent. Toy Story 4, very good movie. Very solid movie. So yeah, so I don't hate Toy Story 4. I understand what it's trying to say. And in Toy Story 4, in a way, the way I understood it, it was like I think the movie was loosely inspired by Pinocchio. Because in Pinocchio, the wood puppet, his conscious is the cricket, and that cricket is trying to teach and lead and guide Pinocchio in the right direction. But in Toy Story 4, this time Woody, no, he's not even though he's not Wood, but his name is Woody. But this time, the wood or the puppet or the toy is the conscience for Forky, trying to lead Forky in the right direction. Where Pinocchio was more free going, will just do things. But Woody would always hold his hand. So there's a big difference. I feel like it's been inspired by Pinocchio, but there's a lot of opposites. Um, and I think the whale in Toy Story 4 represents the antique shop. They're trapped in the antique shop, and the only way out is to satisfy the doll, but the antique shop, satisfy them. And finally, when you do, the antique shop, opens up their mouth and you can go. But you do all that work, but still, it's still not good enough for the whale or the antique shop. Because in the movie, Annabelle did all that work. Or they did all that work for Annabelle. They did it all for Annabelle. And in the end, it's like, it was no good. Oh, that really makes sense. I do see kind of parallels with Pinocchio and Toy Story 4. But yeah, overall, solid series. Anyways, for As God.